On today's Spotlight, we have in studio a guest from Functional Industries of Buffalo. Vice President of Client Services Lisa Parteh joins us. We kind of initiated the Spotlight to talk a little bit about an award that was recently given to the organization, but then we thought, you know, a lot of people might drive by Functional Industries every day, or certainly plenty of times, and they may visually see it, but not necessarily know what happens there. So Lisa's going to talk about that. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, thank you for the invitation. I always love to talk about what we do at Functional Industries and get the word out to the community at large about what it is we do there, who we serve, and what we can do for the community.
Yeah. And rightfully so. Functional Industries has been a part of the community for decades now.
Yes, we have been around since 1974. That's when we were incorporated, and since that time we have just grown and grown and grown. We currently serve about 756 individuals on a daily basis through our services and employ about 100 individuals.
Lay the groundwork for us here a little bit for people that maybe are new to the area or just don't know about what Functional Industries does and what you're all about.
So Functional Industries is a rehabilitation and habilitation provider, meaning that we work with people with disabilities, all levels, all kinds. And we work with them in a number of different ways. We provide rec and leisure activities for individuals. We provide employment for people who want to work both within our four walls, out at employers' sites, and those who are employed competitively in the community. We help them find those jobs, keep those jobs, and sometimes move up into better jobs.
Mm-hmm. And you have two locations.
We do have two locations, one here in Buffalo, right on Highway 55, just north of Walmart, and then we have one in Cokato off of Highway 12.
Okay. And I don't know for sure about the Cokato site, how long that one has been there. Is it similar or?
Very similar to the site here in Buffalo, yes.
When you mentioned, we were talking prior to the program, some 700 folks that you help out, I was kind of taken aback by that. I had no idea.
Keep in mind that not all of those 700 individuals are within our four walls every day. Over half of those individuals are in the community and never touch our buildings in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So
you kind of work in some respects. I mean, some folks are on site, some clients are on site, but in other ways, you kind of are an organizational function for a lot of other jobs and things
we
like
are.
that.
We partner with our local vocational rehab services office out of Monticello, working with individuals both with mental illness and with other disabilities to help them find them jobs in the community. Once people have a job, we are there to provide as much or as little support as they need to keep that job, move up through whatever employment they are in, or find other employment when they want to move on.
Mm-hmm.
That is a large part of what we do.
So now, do you work with, for instance, social workers or things like that? Huh?
We work very closely with Wright County as our host county here. Social workers make referrals every day into our services. We also work with Sherburne, Benton, Stearns, Hennepin, Anoka. We work with quite a few counties who make referrals to us, but Wright County being our largest referral source.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that there were maybe clients that came from, wide stretches here too.
We serve actually all of Wright County, and we go out as far as Medina. We're in Rogers every day, and up through Sherburne County, Clearwater area, down as far south as Watertown, Chaska.
Well, but again, not necessarily are all these people coming to Buffalo
Correct.
or Cokato. Sometimes they're working in their own communities.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Many times, the farther out we go, those individuals are working in their own community.
Give us a little idea of the full works of different jobs, or what?
Sure.
What types of things do people do?
So we contract quite a bit of work with local companies to do what we call hand assembly and production jobs. So let's say you buy a bookcase at Walmart and you get all your little screws and all the little things that you need to put it together. We usually package those, and then that gets put into that bigger piece. We also do a lot of different things. Bike chain cleaners, we put those together and package them up for on the shelf. We are out at Melco on a daily basis working in their site, but also doing some of their work within our walls there at Functional, packaging up different items. As far as community jobs that people hold, we have placed everybody from doctors to HR people down to your local customer service people at McDonald's. So it's a really wide variety of jobs that people hold.
Amazing. And in most cases, a lot of the folks that you coordinate with or for, they take their jobs very seriously. They really enjoy it and are very diligent.
Very much so. Just to give you an example, we currently have 3 individuals working out at Archway in Rogers, and they are very serious about their job. And come the bad weather we had during the winter, all of those snow days, they wanted to be at work. They wanted to be there. They wanted to make strides at their job. One of the gals out there, they're looking at potentially making her a supervisor.
Wow.
So people take their jobs very seriously and really want to move up at what they're doing.
Well, good for them. Now, in your coordination of various different occupations, then do you work with potential employers too, off-campus type?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In the services we provide, there are times where individuals don't know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will go into an employer site and ask if someone can come in and do a job shadow and just see, hey, what is this job all about? We might ask if we could do a job tryout where someone can come in and we pay the wages and they actually get to do the job and see if that's really something that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a variety of different ways that we can capture whether someone wants to actually do this job or if it's a good fit. And sometimes it comes out that, nope, that really was not what I was thinking that it was.
And do you have situations where with various employers, maybe is there a possibility that it's maybe only one person there, or is it always multiple people?
Nope. We have a lot of employers within the counties that is just one person working for that employer. There's a couple different ways when you have more than one person working for an employer. We could have a crew that comes out where we pay the wages. We pay the liability, and those individuals come to your site and do the work for you. Or it could be an individual hire where you just have that one person who is working a job that you or I would work.
Okay. We're talking with Lisa Parteh. She is a Vice President of Client Services at Functional Industries in Buffalo and Cokato. Getting a little background here of what the organization does and has been doing successfully for decades. Talk about the growth as it's been going, or has it stayed pretty stable, or are you kind of growing exponentially here?
I have been with Functional Industries for 17 years, and I have not seen a year without growth.
Okay.
Last year, in some of our services, we had a 16% growth.
Wow.
Some services, it was 3 to 4%, but there is a continual growth every year. We have not seen a program that has not grown over the last 10 years.
Talk a little bit about the ages of clients that you serve.
Sure. We can start kids who are in school anywhere from 16 to 21. Typically what we see is 18 to 21. Transition youth is what they're called, and they'll come in and start transitioning into our services, learning the world of the adult, how to work, how to hold a job, the types of things that you and I learned at that age. But we also serve anywhere from 21 all the way up to, I think our oldest client right now is 85.
Wow.
And so people have the option. They can work as long as they like or as short as they like. Now, if somebody comes to me at age 20 and says, I want to quit working, there's going to be a conversation. Why do you want to do that? But we had one gal who waited till she was 84 to retire. So that's some dedication.
It is. And now you, I'm assuming, are quite flexible as far as if there's other programming that these individuals need or want to go to. You can kind of work, and you said you have some folks that just work one day and others that are every day.
So we have a number of opportunities for individuals. This year we have started volunteering in different places. We are doing Meals on Wheels here in Buffalo. We are working with the Waverly Food Shelf, and we have an individual who's working over at the Lake Ridge Oasis. People can direct their own services. So I have some individuals who want to work half a day and do rec and leisure type activities for the other half of the day. Some people work one day a week, rec and leisure the rest. My one gentleman who is over at Lake Ridge Oasis, he actually works in the community 3 days a week and then volunteers one day a week. That's how he wants his schedule set up. So it isn't based on what we want for individuals. It's really about what they want and how they want to get involved and how they want to get to know their communities.
And lastly, touch on the transportation a little bit. We had a few snow days this past winter. I talked with Bob Fix. Seemed like every other day there for a while. But
yes. Transportation is one of the major things that we do. People need to get back and forth to work. When I first started, we had 6 buses. We still have 6 buses. We were providing 29 routes a day ourselves, and we came to realize that is not what we wanted to do. We partnered with Trailblazer. Trailblazer is currently providing the bulk of our transportation. Couldn't have a better partnership with a public provider. TriCap does a portion of it. We are down to 9 routes a day from 29. Now, keep in mind that every year we're growing. So I don't know when that will ever actually go out of our wheelhouse, but our goal is to get out of transportation and hand it all off to Trailblazer and let them do everything for us.
Now, does that, how does the transportation end of it work for those that are not in the core communities of where your shops are, for instance? That's one of the reasons that we still do some of our transportation, because as we all know, Rockford is part of Wright County and it's part of Hennepin County, so we have to run that Hennepin County route ourselves. Okay.
Anything that's within Wright County, Trailblazer is currently doing for us.
Oh, okay. And
then what comes out of Stearns and Sherburne is what TriCap does for us. So we hardly say no to a referral, and we figure out transportation, and we make it happen.
Boy, that must be an interesting grid to figure all that out, because especially if you only have some individuals that are only going certain days to certain places. And
Bob Fix, who is our transportation manager, is amazing at being able to put that all together and working side by side with Trailblazer to make sure that every single person has a ride in and has a ride home every day.
Well, hats off. Let's talk about your award a little bit. Now, this was a recent presentation. It's the Life Enrichment Award from the Minnesota Organization for Habilitation and Rehabilitation, or MOHR, M-O-H-R. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so last year in May of 2018, we were approached by Self-Advocates of Minnesota out of St. Cloud. Bev Kaler was their contact person out there, and she contacted us and asked us if we would be interested in some self-advocacy classes for the individuals we serve. We said absolutely, because everything we do, people need to advocate for themselves, especially if they're out in the community at a job, whether they are at home with their parents or they live in a group home. We got our first classes set up. It was a 12-week course. About halfway through, Bev said, hey, how would you like for us to train a trainer and a couple of clients as teaching assistants, and you guys can carry this on? We said, absolutely. That would be fabulous. We identified a couple of clients that we are serving that were in the class and thought they would be great at it. We did not know if they would agree, but they did, which was really exciting. We then partnered with CAMI, which is the mental health portion of Sherburne, Wright, Stearns, and Benton counties. And they allowed us a grant to be able to provide a couple of different classes for individuals with mental health issues, one in Monticello and one in St. Cloud. And those were well attended. Very exciting to watch people grow through these classes. The classes themselves, there's 4 sections to the classes. So the first part is that people are coming in and they're building their personal power, learning how to talk about themselves, for themselves, lots of hands-on activities that they get to do to kind of draw them out of their shells. The second part is connecting to disability rights. So what are your rights? Do you know what the ADA has to say? Do you know what the law says about what your rights are? Again, doing lots of hands-on activities to be able to cement that in and remember it. And the third part was building better communities. They actually had to do a service out in a community, choose a service. So our first class worked with the Buffalo food shelf, and they gathered food for them and then took it down and delivered it. Our second class did some stuff for a nursery up in St. Cloud. They did some collection of items. I can't remember what the third class did. I think it was another food shelf. But that was a pretty exciting part of it.
Sure.
And, of course, graduation day was really exciting because everybody earns their certificate and they get to talk about what they learned. Probably the most exciting thing for us through this was to see our individuals grow. We have one gentleman who fired his guardian, and he will tell you all about it because he felt he didn't know him. He didn't know what his wants were, and he wanted somebody who was willing to get to know him, and he used his advocacy rights to do it the right way.
Man.
So really exciting.
So kind of self-awareness, self-empowerment,
Yes.
As well as being your own advocate, too.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, are these ongoing classes? Is this something that people will need or elect to refresh on, or is it always the same series?
Right now, Self-Advocates for Minnesota has just finished developing what they call Self-Advocacy 102. This was 101. They will be coming back in and doing a secondary class with that first group that went through. But our goal is to continue providing classes on the 101 level to those individuals and then get involved after we've done the 102 to be able to provide that as well. And continue to get that outreach out. We are reaching out to the local schools right now. We feel it's really important for kids who are coming out of school with disabilities to have these self-advocacy skills, especially as they're going into jobs and maybe have never spoken for themselves. So,
and tell me about the award now. This was kind of recognition for this from the organization. Tell me what you can about the organization of habilitation and rehabilitation.
Sure. MOHR is an organization of similar providers as functional industries all throughout the state of Minnesota. These organizations provide both day programming, employment. There's a lot of different services that each program provides, and they have come together as a group mostly to be able to leverage our power when it comes to getting things done in the disability field. Every year they have an opportunity to recognize a number of programs for what they consider life enrichment things that the programs have been doing. And so back in, I want to say it was back in early February, I completed a nomination form and sent it off thinking, well, let's see where this goes. And pleasantly surprised when I got that phone call and said, hey, you've been one of the groups chosen. They really look at what is it that organizations like ours are doing to enhance the lives of the people we serve. How are they moving those people forward and keeping them out of those institutional places, giving them the skills they need to live on their own, giving them the skills they need to work on their own. So
Well, it's a high honor, and congratulations on that. Now, so basically, by being honored by this, are they going to kind of refer to you or show what you did as an example of to follow for other groups, for instance?
That has actually already started.
Okay.
We work with the Wallace Group through the MOHR organization, and they have already started giving me a number of opportunities to be able to talk about what we've done and how we've developed it, and other opportunities for us to be able to use that self-advocacy piece and move it farther than it is right now. So we're very excited about the possibilities.
Yeah, it must be very fulfilling and exciting to see people thrive like that too.
It is. It's very exciting, whether someone has a disability or not, to watch them grow.
Sure.
And to watch people who were so shy and introverted come through this class and now just be champions for self-advocacy. It's very fulfilling.
Before we go, talk a little bit about your own employees and some of the roles that they do.
Sure. So just a little bit back to the self-advocacy. When we started this, one of the requirements is that the staff go through this class with the individuals so that they know what self-advocacy is all about. We have individuals who work direct support, meaning that they are there every day for the individuals in our buildings, caring for their personal needs, helping them with activities, getting them out in the community, helping them with work, those types of things. We have individuals who case manage and do a bit of the frontline things, but then they're also the people who are helping individuals set their goals. And where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be next year? Let's put a goal in place so we can get you there. We have employment specialists who are out knocking on employers' doors in the community every day. So if you have an employment specialist from Functional Industries come knock on your door, please open the door and listen. They're looking for jobs for people, and they're trying to help people get employed. And I'm trying to think. We also have a whole production team who's out there looking for work for our individuals and looking for types of work that make sense based on the abilities that people have. Everything from very simple 2-step jobs up to 15, 20-step jobs. So, and then, of course, our management team.
Sure. It sounds like the future is bright and that there's going to be plenty of things for Functional Industries to do and fill here for the near and far future.
You know, there's always more to do. There will never be a lack of things to do, but there could be at times a lack of funding. The government, unfortunately, doesn't always see it the same way that we see it. And so we are constantly, with this MOHR group, in front of that legislature, wanting to educate and show them that, hey, we need more to be able to push services to where they need to be.
Sure. If people have any questions or if they just have general interest, where can they contact you and find out more?
They can contact me at Functional Industries. They can call 763-682-4336 and ask for myself. Or they can go on the website, www.functionalindustries.org, and get connected with anyone that way.
Well, it's been really interesting to learn more about Functional Industries, and hopefully people have a little better idea now of what it is that you do. Like I say, a lot of people, especially folks that maybe are kind of newcomers to the area, probably drive by every day or certainly often and never really know for sure what it is that goes on.
We hear that quite frequently. We drive by here 2-3 times a day. We never knew what you did here.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Lisa Parteh is our guest from Functional Industries, and maybe we'll talk with you again here in the future and see how things are going along, or anytime that you have updates, by all means, let us know.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Thanks for coming. There's today's Spotlight for you on KRWC.